They didn't steal your mind.
They rewrote it so well you'd never notice it was gone.
They told you to think for yourself, then handed you the template.
From your first breath,
The world began planting ideas into your head, not gently, not kindly, but as if your mind was empty property they had every right to build on.
what's a good person?
What's normal? What's beautiful? What's successful? Too much? Too little?
Don't worry, they already filled in the blanks for you.
Before you even knew how to hold a pencil. The moment you learned to speak, they handed you the script. Smile when it's uncomfortable. Laugh when you're anxious. Be polite even when you're dying inside. And if something doesn't feel right, just call it overthinking. You think you're making choices. Cute. You think you're being yourself. Adorable. But the shape of your thoughts was carved by a world that rewards compliance and punishes the strange. You don't wear what you want. You wear what won't get judged. You don't believe what you believe. You believe what's been repeated often enough
To sound like truth.
And then comes the fun part. They teach you to doubt the parts of you that don't fit the mold. The dreams too big. The feelings too loud. The silence too heavy. You grow up thinking you're the problem. But maybe you were just never designed for their system in the first place. Still, you try to fit. You shrink yourself in just the right places. You laugh at jokes that make your skin crawl. You chase goals you don't even want, just because they came with applause. And all the while, you call this free will? Isn't it wild how the loudest voices in your head aren't even yours? The fear of being left out. The need to please. The urge to explain yourself to people who never deserved an answer.
Where did all that come from?
Not your soul, not your instincts, but from watching people get rewarded for being fake and punished for being real. You were trained to ignore the quiet voice, the honest one. The one that whispered, "This isn't you. This feels wrong. Leave." But instead, you stayed, you nodded, you smiled, because that's what you were taught to do. Even rebellion was pre-approved. Even your edgy phase was a product with a label. You weren't breaking the rules. You were following a different script. One still written by them. Society doesn't need to control you. It just needs to convince you that you're in control. And you bought it. We all did. Every thought you thought was yours was gently placed in your mind by someone who needed you to be predictable, controllable, pleasant. But the scariest part isn't that they shaped your thoughts. It's that you thanked them for it. You praised the ones who taught you to suppress. You admired the ones who wore the best masks. You envied the ones who followed the rules so well they forgot they were wearing chains. And now here you are, trying to find yourself in a mirror built by strangers, with cracks they told you were flaws. But maybe, just maybe, your real thoughts are the ones that make you uncomfortable, the ones that don't fit in polite company, the ones that show up at 2 a.m. and whisper things you don't dare say aloud. Maybe the thoughts you're scared of are finally yours. And that's why they terrify you. If this felt a little too real, you're exactly who this was for. Subscribe before they overwrite that, too.